Hi, welcome to another Cam Does Data. Let's do some more SQL. I'm hoping that if I can help you run through SQL problems and kind of understand the idea behind them and actually understand what the code is doing, it'll make you better and more proficient at SQL and better at being a data analyst. So if you come over here to Leetcode, click on Problems, and then go right here to SQL 50. Now I randomly rolled a number earlier, 32. Consecutive numbers. All right, so this is what I do when I'm looking at a problem that I may or may not be unfamiliar with. I think I've solved this before a few months ago. All right, in SQL, ID is the primary key, and ID is an auto increment column starting from 1. So this will go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like this. So for every new data point, this automatically gets added and incremented by 1. So we know the table will always have a 1, 2, 3, 4 and building up from there. And so we want to find consecutive numbers. Find all the numbers that appear at least 3 times consecutively and return the table in any order. So we want to find nums. We want to find nums from the logs table. And then we're going to be looking at the ID. I'm thinking, just off the top of my head, I think a self-join might work. We could self-join and then just look at the next ID and then see if num is still equal to that, and then look at the next ID as well and see if num is also equal to that. And then we can find just the numbers that have 3 consecutive numbers. So let's do like L1. This is how you alias as well. You can also put as. So I'm selecting num from logs, and then I'm aliasing it as L1. That's an L. Is this zoomed in enough? I hope this is zoomed in enough for you. That might be too much. Let's go there. All right, so L1, join L logs L2 on L1.id equals, actually, let's do L2.id equals L1.id plus 1. So this will join these two. It'll join itself. It's called a self join. That's one of the joins you might have to use for when you do something like this. So there's self joins, left joins. There's a million videos out there on joins, but let's look at this self join, and we're joining on the ID column that's consecutive to that. So we're making the LD or the L2, our second table ID equal to L1 ID plus 1. So that'll give us these two. And then we also want to join it again. Join L2 on, and now I want L3.id equals L2.id. Make sure that's equals L2.id plus 1. I could also do L1.id plus 2 here. Either way, it's the exact same logic. And here, let's just do it to prove it. Let's do that. So we're taking a self join, make sure we alias that correctly. We're joining 1, 2 on the second ID is equal to 1 plus this. And then we're joining a third time on this one equaling that plus 2. So our third table is going to line up. It's going to be ID 1 is lined up with ID 2 is lined up with ID 3. And then we're going to grab the num from that. And then what we want to do, where L1.num equals L2.num and L2.num, gotta add num right there, is equal to L3.num. So I've joined it 3 times, and then I'm making sure that all the numbers are the same. So it's going to find me 3 consecutive rows where the number is the same, which is exactly what they asked us to do. So this is going to give us those stacked, and then it's only going to give us the row where that number is identical across all those different IDs. So this will return, since we're not asking for ID here. We could ask for ID here. Here, I'll do this so you can see it. Just so you can picture it. And then we're going to have to alias that as one of them. Because number right now is in all of them, so we just want to pick that one. So let's look at this so you can visualize it and picture what it's doing here. So you see it's giving me this ID, this ID, this ID. So it's self-joining on itself, and so it's kind of like swinging the table up, if that makes sense, and bringing those IDs in line with each other. And then we're doing it only on the ones where number is the same, which this is exactly what we want. Now, the one thing that will happen if 4 was also 1, then we would have got another row here, I believe, with 2, 3, 4, and then 1 right there as well. So we maybe want to do distinct number. Let's do distinct number as consecutive nums. We want this. That's what you need for the final answer. So if that makes sense, if there was a 4th one, we would then have a second time where it happened when it went 2, 3, 4. If this one was 1, so we'd get a second row here, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 again. So by selecting distinct num, we only want where this happens at least one time, where it's done it consecutively. So we can get rid of these rows because we don't need that in the answer. This is all we want in the output, is just the consecutive numbers wherever it happened, where it at least lined up 3 times consecutively. And that should be, let's double check, that should be it right there. And there you go, 1. And so when you run it on Leetcode, it does 1 test case. But when you actually submit it, you will have to make an account and log in to submit it. And so there you go. And don't worry about this runtime and beating everybody. You can run this exact same code 10 different times and get completely different runtimes. So I wouldn't really worry about the runtimes or anything. But that's one way to solve it. You can go here to solutions and look at community submitted solutions. Here's one that did lead, which is another way you could do it. It's basically the same thing as saying this, +1. You're doing the same thing, but leading the numbers instead of the IDs. So yeah, there's more solutions there. Leetcode's a great place. Some of their hard questions, I would say, are medium, and some of their medium questions are kind of hard. So I don't know how they come up with this rating system, but definitely give it a shot if you want. And I think I'll do another one of these where I do a random rolled number and just solve it real quick and kind of walk you through. But if you just go through step by step and try to think about what you want to accomplish, what you're looking for, take all these clues they're giving you and really break down the problem. And if you do that in your job, when you're doing, analysis work, if you just break down what you're trying to find, like if they ask you for top 3 salaries by department or whatever, think about that. You want the top 3 salaries by department. And there's a bunch of different ways you could do that. But just break it down. All right, well, first, how would I find top 3 salaries? And how would I find each department? And then join those up, find top 3 salaries by department. Hopefully that helps you walking through this. This was a medium problem. I might do some more easy problems, because even some of their easy problems on Leetcode, I wouldn't say are very easy. But yeah, that's that. Go ahead and follow me on LinkedIn. The link to my LinkedIn is in the description. I'll also leave the link to this problem here on Leetcode if you wanted to come and look at it and look at some of these solutions that are available from the community. I'll leave the link to that in the description as well. Go ahead and subscribe and leave any comments or anything. And yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching.